Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and look at this from CoinDesk. XRP has spiked in the past 24 hours. See, a lot of people have been wondering, why is the price going up? A lot of people are like, oh, maybe it's because of Swell. Well, I don't think that's the case myself. Historically, Swell, sometimes the price would spike because of Swell, because people think there's going to be an announcement, but it never does really happen that way. I don't think that's what the price spike's about. I think CoinDesk might be more over the target. It's spiked in the past 24 hours to become the top performing crypto major as Bitcoin and Ethereum held steady. Bulls may have reacted to last week's news Ripple won key approvals. This is what they're talking about. This is what I think. Ripple said last Thursday that Dubai Financial Services Authority, DFSA, approved XRP under its virtual assets regime, allowing licensed firms in Dubai International Financial Center, a financial sandbox, to incorporate and offer XRP to clients as a part of their crypto services. On the same day, the firm said it would start working with National Bank of Georgia, NBG, and Digital Larry, GEL, pilot project, which will use the firm's central bank digital currency platform. Hong Kong and Taiwan governments are already using the CBDC service, which launched in May. Wait a minute. CoinDesk, are you telling me that XRP is the only digital asset that's got legal clarity in the United States and that it's being used and going to be used by banks? And here is Ripple Swell. Today is November 6th. Ripple Swell is, I think it starts the 8th. Let me go back. I can't remember. I accidentally went back to the Ripple website. Let's go back one. Let's go back 2. No, and 3. November 8th through 9th is Ripple Swell. And then I think tomorrow we have Brad Garlinghouse at DC FinTech Week with Gary. And here's the speakers. You got all sorts of speakers. There's even somebody from Circle there, DBS Bank, head of digital assets. I think they're going to be a big part of Ripple going forward. It will be interesting to see what it is, but I don't think this is why the price is going up. I really don't. I cannot believe it. You'd think that these people would have learned by now. The ISO GOAT should know by now that the crypto Gestapo, the crypto police, do not allow you are not allowed to show XRP price glitches because it could create excitement. You're not allowed to do this. You have to be negative. If it's a choice between positive and negative, you always default to the negative. How can the ISO GOAT not know this by now? Luckily for the ISO GOAT, the digital asset investor defaults to positive. That's what we do on this channel because we have all the reasons in the world to be positive about XRP and always have. I've always believed in what I owned and nothing has changed. I know exactly what I own. Exactly. I think a lot of people don't and never did or lost belief in what they own. Not this guy. But there has been a price glitch. The glitch is at $253.29. Oh my goodness, imagine that. And then Crypto Insight UK, XRP blast off in T-8 days. Could we be about to go parabolic on XRP? On a weekly time frame, if we look back to 2017, we can see XRP moves between 1,000 and 1,485% within 3 weeks. When it enters the overbought area on the RSI, let me see what overbought, I don't know where the overbought area is there. Maybe he says it down here. We currently have some space to push before we hit the overbought area, and this time price would have to rise. So we could presume overbought may occur around 90 cents to $1. This could be our launch pad, and it would need to come soon, in the coming week or so. If we get this price action and history repeats, it would put XRP price between $10 and $14. The digital asset investor would be very happy at those prices, and probably so would you. It would be a big, big deal. And I like the sound of where he's going. Check this out. Hong Kong Securities, this is new. Hong Kong Securities and Futures Commission is considering the introduction of a Bitcoin and spot ETF. Wouldn't that be funny if Hong Kong did it before Gary Gensler allowed the United States to have one? Wouldn't that be strange for China to win in this race? Almost as if Gary was on their side. Brad Garlinghouse sent out this picture. This is from him doing DC FinTech Week. He says, every year I look forward to DC FinTech Week. Everyone from public to private participants in one room, discussing and sometimes debating the substantive issues with no holds barred. Wondering a proverbial cage match. See you on Wednesday and then off to Ripple Swell. I believe that Brad Garlinghouse is tweeting this out because I meant to show it to you, but Darren Moore, XRP Darren, had tweeted this picture out, and he made a comment like, this was all planned. In other words, he was saying all the world's a stage. He was putting it in the red file. I have 3 red files. And so I think Brad Garlinghouse tweeted this out to kind of say, no, this is just a fight. Yeah. So I don't know. If all the world's a stage, boy, do we live in an interesting world. Stuart Alderati, he's tweeting out a Gary Gensler write-up. Remarkably, Gary suggested that a crypto project retaining a lawyer is a security. That's wrong as a matter of law, not to mention common sense, and it's not so subtle an outrageous threat to everyone's right to consult with counsel. Exactly. These are some bad, bad people. Check this out, Michael Branch. London Stock Exchange, one of the biggest in the world with $3.18 trillion in listed companies, is moving forward with plans to incorporate digital assets. The company is looking for a director. What does that look like for crypto? How about some XRP on the London Stock Exchange? Now, this is good. Truth Labs. Vitalik Buterin has a well-documented history of controlling narratives in the direction he wants the market to go, so that he can profit off of his trades. In the clip below, he talks about calling out an overinflated crypto market and how he sold the top to double Ethereum's runway. I've played you this video before, but I wanted to show you this. You really should be following what Steven Arioff is saying. I say this because Steven has what I lack, and I have what Steven has lacked. Steven provides first-hand narrative behind the early days of Ethereum, where he worked directly with Vitalik Buterin and Joe Lubin, among others who founded Ethereum. Much of Ethereum's original structure and internal decisions around the organizational structure, token design, GAS, were concepts created and directed to the Ethereum founders. He also understands their financial situation as they navigated being a startup without a runway, and the timing in which they had what they had and what they needed to survive. This is all documented. What I and my associates have is the opposite of Steven. We have the on-chain receipts that provide the in-depth evidence to back up Steven's evidence. For instance, perhaps Ethereum needed money to extend their runway at the time of the DAO attack, the DAO hack. Not only hacking the DAO, locking up a ton of Ethereum, but also trading massive position against Ethereum was a way to immediately provide cash to the Ethereum Foundation. Cash essential for them to provide the runway needed to survive the bear market. Perhaps they got too comfortable with this model, rugging their own protocols to extend the life of their blockchain built on stories, theft, and fraud. As Rick James once famously said, greed is a hell of a drug. Okay, maybe he said cocaine is a hell of a drug, but you get the drift. Speaking of cocaine, did you see the problem that came out this week on Lubin? Massive drug problems correlate highly with criminal activities, just saying. In closing, pay close attention to Stephen. I believe you will start to see a well-rounded picture of the actual truth begin to form and show the truth behind the foundation Ethereum was built on. Always stay curious, my friends. Boring sleuth. Boy, was that a write-up. Well, speaking of Ethereum and ETHgate, now we have Jay Clayton. And Jay Clayton, who is such a good guy and a contributor at CNBC, he thinks that we should now look into the campaign finance problems behind FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried. Maybe this would be the perfect distraction for Jay Clayton and Bill Hinman and all of them about if ETHgate starts to be looked at if they stare at FTX.
So Jay, here's the question. We were talking about this in the last hour. At this point, there is still the potential to bring a second case against Sam Bankman-Fried as it relates to campaign finance reform and how he had been moving some of that money around. That decision doesn't have to come from the prosecutors until February, the judge said yesterday. The question I'd ask you as a former public servant and somebody who lives in this world, if you are a prosecutor, do you say to yourself, you know what, enough's enough, we've done the work, he's going to prison for the rest of his life, and it's not worth the tax dollars to keep going? Or do you say that there's a point that needs to be made from either a deterrence perspective or something else in terms of wanting to expose and put on record what took place? Do you decide to prosecute that case or not?
Well, Andrew, as a citizen, I'm in the latter camp. I think that Damian Williams appropriately characterized this as one of the largest financial frauds in history. As I see it, this is one of the largest campaign finance problems in history, and it's high profile. And as a citizen, I would like to see this case pursued. Now, how it gets pursued, whether there's some kind of plea agreement, but the facts of what happened here ought to be on the table, because Sam was not the only one participating in this campaign finance scheme.
Who else was, Jay?
I don't know. Becky,
it appears that all of the people who already pled guilty in this other case that were cooperating witnesses were party to what was taking place because they were doing it through their names and talking. I mean, it was
his mom too? I heard you guys talking about this. It was openly
discussed in all of this, and the mother may have been involved, the father may have been involved. It's unclear.
And look, I'm not a scalps for scalp sake kind of person. But this goes to election integrity and all of the things that, gosh,
that's rich for him to talk about integrity, isn't it?
The news in so many ways these days. I do think it is something that the American people should see what happened here, see what's legal and illegal, and look, take the opportunity that people are paying attention to demonstrate what's permissible and not permissible.
Right. If you're him, though, I assume at this point you would plead guilty to it just because you wouldn't want to spend the money to fight it if you're going to be in prison for the rest of your life anyway, right?
Well, you're right. The dynamic, that's why I use the word resolution rather than trial. The dynamics around whether this is a case that results in a plea agreement and the like, or one where you have to actually put the facts on trial. I probably lean, for all the reasons you said, toward some type of settled resolution here.
What do you think is a fair sentence?
I would.
It's a very interesting question. Why is CNBC and Jay Clayton and all these guys that we know, they will not say the word ETHgate, but they'll talk about FTX all day long? Why are they so gladly willing to talk about FTX, but they will not even whisper ETHgate? And it's bigger. Well, it's all evil, but it's bigger. So they won't even mention it. I think that this is probably designed to be some distraction away, because a lot of this Lubin stuff's starting to come out, and a lot of the ETHgate stuff, and these guys can't have that being pointed at. I can tell you that. Well, we are going to talk about more of the evils or potential evils of FTX we are going into we're going so far into the danger zone that I'm literally playing the Danger Zone song today. You guys, if you haven't ever seen this kind of about this stuff, what I'm about to show you, we're talking, folks, this is bad. And I wanted to talk about this kind of stuff on YouTube a long time ago. And I've told you 1,000 times, it's not about one side of the aisle or the other. This is about a lot of bad people that have taken control of our country and our world, and it needs to be put to a stop. So Jay Clayton was from the right side. He was appointed by Trump. So we talk about both sides for me, but we're going into this thing, and it is the danger zone. So stay out if you don't want to see some of this stuff. And I understand some of it's pretty heavy. To quote Michael J. Fox from Back to the Future. Here we go. It makes me sick. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that in DAIXRP.com, we went into the danger zone today. We even played the Kenny Loggins music because it was completely necessary today. You should all come check it out. I'll blow your mind. It'll shock you, but I think that it's important that we expose some of this stuff for the good of this country, the good of the world, really. Thanks for listening.